Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of Strife's Talking Points. And today in the news, my favorite story by far is the story of the Trump having the social media meeting between some left-wing, centrist, and right-wing personalities, all coming to the White House to discuss online censorship and the role that social media is playing moving forward. And before I begin, I always like to say, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I am a tiny channel just trying to have conversations with people, and I really do enjoy it. So let me know how you guys feel about the story. And before I begin, I'd just like to say this article here is from the Huffington Post. I've been keeping track of a few of the stories. There is just a onslaught if you go online about all this. Where any type of left-wing group is attacking all of this as just the craziest thing ever, when in reality this is probably just a basic meeting. Trump trying to get a feel of what's going on and to meet some new people. We all know that President Trump loves meeting people, ingratiating himself to them, and then just randomly talking about them later on. All right. From HuffPo, the White House Social Media Summit is already a bigotry circus. So HuffPo is going to pull no punches, and they're going to slant this as far as they can, and it is just amazing. Ben Garrison, a conservative cartoonist who was uninvited over an anti-Semitic cartoon. Again, you shouldn't, if you're going to make anti-Semitic cartoons, don't expect a lot of love from a president with a Jewish daughter, son-in-law, and grandchildren. Not really going to get you anywhere. The rest of the guest list is these who's who of online trolls and extremists. I've seen some of the guests, and some of them are just interesting people. Now, a couple of them I know are just people trying to be funny online. But if you're funny and you're good at it, you are an online troll, and that's the statement and the reaction from HuffPo. The White House is hosting a social media summit on Thursday and invited some of the internet's loudest conservative trolls and racist carnival breakers to attend. But if you've been paying attention, the circus has already begun. Wow, interesting. Let's see here. The political cartoon. Soros manipulating the government, Rothschild, Soros, and they're saying this is 100% attacking every Jewish person. I believe saying that a certain family and then this guy manipulating the government isn't attacking all Jews. You can go after one person and not the entire religion, when their religion is less protected than, let's say, Muslims are overall. Here we go. Charlie Kirk leads a college Republican group that has a white supremacy problems in its top ranks. Now, anytime you go in and look at these, you'll see these, they'll give you these other stories. White supremacist sign, just one familiar to the group. He probably made an OK symbol or raised his arm. Yeah, flashing the OK sign. That is not white supremacist. HuffPo needs to stop trying to say that. Carpe Donktum, the guy who makes the hilariously weird memes. Some of them are funnier than others, but has met with white nationalist Stephen Molyneux. I've seen some of Stephen Molyneux's stuff. I wouldn't consider him a white nationalist. He's just saying it's okay to be white. That's one of the things I've seen multiple times. And was previously suspended from Twitter over a video that depicted President Trump shooting CNN reporter Jim Acosta. Oh, that's the meme where you see the guy standing up, shoots the guy in the chair, and says, "Why you do this?" You know, that's meant to be a joke. Let's see. Ali Alexander has numerous racist smear campaigns against Rep. Ilhan Omar. with other career racists like Laura Loomer. Laura Loomer falls into the protected Jewish class and female. She's gone up against a lot of the stuff you've seen against Ilhan Omar for a lot of the comments she's made. And of course, now in the news is a story where, yes, it does seem that Ilhan Omar was married to a brother while living with her husband in the same house to expedite his immigration into the U.S. Let's see. The list goes on. These voices aren't known for coming to level-headed conclusions after polite discussion and debate. Charlie Kirk is known for that. Stephen Molyneux is generally always pretty even-tempered. Carpe Dumpton just makes funny cartoons. Laura Loomer is technically a reporter, and she's banned from every digital platform possible, I believe. Rather, they are some of the internet's most powerful trolls with millions of followers between them, and their critics say they want free reign to harass people online. Now, if you harass people online and it's targeted campaigns, all of these social media platforms have the ability to remove you for targeted harassment, and this just isn't really happening. You see a lot of the doxing, a lot of the threats of violence, a lot of the more severe name calling coming from a lot of these mainstream sites. You don't get it out there. You can't be anywhere on the right unless you're completely sanitized to the rest of it. You have to remain totally above board, otherwise you get banned, because that's the way the internet works now. They're advocating for a particular kind of social media system where they would be allowed to harass. That's not what they're saying. They're saying even rules, defame, and post indecent content. I wonder if that covers all the stuff you see on all these sites banning pornography, because to my knowledge, none of these are trying to ban indecent content and not be censored for it, and not be moderated in any way. Now, what I've heard from various people like Tim Pool and some of these other groups is they're wanting the rules to be made plain, where the rules themselves aren't politically biased against one group or another, and just make it a more fair and easy internet, instead of the basically where Google has had videos leaked where they're saying they won't allow a Trump, where Pinterest is banning conservative groups, where YouTube is actively removing monetization and videos that don't break their rules, while leaving up videos which do actually break their rules because they agree with that type of behavior. The whole thing is very, very messed up. Joan Donovan, director of the Technology and Social Change Research Project at Harvard University, told the Washington Post they want benefits of social media with none of the civility. Now, I wonder if that qualifies under the civility for like Antifa groups, for smear campaigns against people, for doxing of anyone by people on Twitter who have no repercussions on that, and the removal of publicly covered topics such as the Project Veritas video, which showed Pinterest actively removing people. Then when it was covered by the mainstream media, those videos remained, but when it was covered by people on YouTube, those videos were removed completely because reasons. Meanwhile, the White House did not invite representatives from Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, or Google. Now, Twitter has already said that the people that work for them are politically biased, that the bias is in their code, it's in the way they treat the rules. Facebook announced in a report just, I believe, yesterday that they will allow targeted online harassment, threats of violence against any group that Facebook or the media has labeled as an extremist group. They've already stated they will do that. YouTube is actively censoring everything on YouTube. Everywhere you go, they're pulling down all kinds of stuff because that's just the name of the game. Google itself, if you go to Google and you type in men can... Oh, They took it. Oh, there it is. Men can have babies now. Men can get pregnant. Men can have babies. These are not. That's not right. That's just kind of strange. But you know, the idea that men can have babies is a far left ideology. It's not something that your average liberal would agree with. It's not something that any conservative would agree with. It's not a centrist idea. It's a far left idea, and that's Google actively promoting these ideas. Again with HuffPo. In reality, this summit was never about making changes to the social media landscape, but rather about giving Trump an opportunity to fire up his online base for the upcoming election, according to the Wall Street Journal. The base of Americans that fall into the center and into conservatives and your normal everyday liberals are being removed from social media. We are being blasted as a nation with these far left extremist ideas. Imagine a world where being a communist is considered center. It's considered normal liberal policy. Not being a progressive, not being any other type of thing, but if you're not a communist, then you're a member of the far right. That's kind of what we see on our day-to-day interactions online now, especially if you follow this type of stuff pretty closely. It's just everything is going out the window, and there you go. It's all about 2020. Yes, I would agree that the rules you've seen change on Pinterest, YouTube, Google, Facebook, all of these throttling, shutting down pages, shadow banning through Twitter, all of this stuff relates to 2020. All of these companies are trying to gear up to stop any type of conservative from being elected, from being electable, from being able to share information anywhere on media. This is the goal. This is the whole point of all this. It's all about 2020. Paul Gallant, a policy analyst for the investment bank Cowen Inc., told the Journal. Gallant said this event allows Trump to tell the base that the media and internet companies are against us. Trump doesn't need to tell people that. This is something that if you're active online, you know. Reddit, for the love of God, quarantined the Trump, the Donald, the pro-Trump site on Reddit was quarantined. All the stuff there is now under a message. They are deleting posts. I did a video on it myself. It's going on. And then you have people on the left who are supposed to be more liberal, more about freedom of speech, more about ideas, are saying, no, ideas are fascist, freedom of speech is fascist, it's all hate. That's not true. If you don't have freedom of speech, then it's very difficult for people not in power to talk, to get their ideas out there, to let things happen. And all of these tech platforms operate under, a special section of the Telecommunications Act where they are not liable for stuff posted on their sites because they are private platforms. They are platforms, they are not publishers. And then they all want to act with editorial fervor to shut down things they disagree with, things which are not illegal, are not considered obscene under the law, are not in any way, even though Facebook says they're not violating any terms of service, YouTube not violating terms of service, but we call it borderline. And keep in mind, Facebook has a list of people, and that is it. So when they tell you they're going to go all the way through it, they give you a few people and then leave it alone. And that's it. Here's a little excerpt here. Individuals and organizations that have said they were invited to the summit to have been confirmed to attend include conservative radio host Bill Mitchell, a right-wing meme maker called Carpe Donktum, Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk, right-wing propaganda YouTube channel PragerU, which is, I think anything not, like I said, considered, pretty far left is now right-wing. Right-wing YouTube channel PragerU, Some of the stuff is very conservative in nature. Pro-Trump cartoonist Ben Garrison, I believe he's the one that they were talking about. Human Events publisher Will Chamberlain. Now, Human Events is a unique one because they're the ones showing how these trends are moving through our own country, our own social media, through the nation as a whole. Go look up Human Events if you want some interesting stuff to watch and read. Media Research Center founder Brent Bozell. Conservative think tank The Heritage Foundation. Students for Trump co-founder Ryan Furrier. Right-wing personality Ali Alexander. Described citizen journalist James O'Keefe. Project Veritas, who's actually shown videos directly showing that these tech companies are censoring conservatives. They're banning them. They're even having centrist ideas, not even right-wing ideas, but centrist ideas will get you banned because the terms and conditions are written specifically so that if you're not pretty far left, your ideas automatically break terms of service. Rep. Matt Gaetz from Florida, who I believe is the one who put forth the law, changing the law to remove their platform stance if they cannot be shown to be politically neutral, which I believe would wreck these companies entirely once they're no longer considered politically neutral and they are now liable for things that publish on their sites. They would have to draw down what they publish immensely. YouTube, all these companies, Facebook would then have to scale back their own usage or their own uploading capabilities dramatically. And Senator Marsha Blackburn, Republican from Tennessee. On this, here what I wanted to show. This is from Politico. This is a follow-up ad there, kind of in the same vein. Conservative tech critics file in as White House social media summit kicks off. Now, you'll notice that title is much less cringy than that one. Just a bigotry circus. They're trying to hold the line back a little bit. And I wanted to find this one piece. Here's discussing... no, it's Hawley was the bill, not Gaetz. His bill would rewrite the key section 230 of the 1996 Communications and Decency Act, which allowed companies like Facebook, Google, Twitter, and myriad of others to avoid online lawsuits over content published by their users. Hawley's proposal would require the largest platforms to prove they're politically neutral in order to keep the prized liability shield. Meaning no editorial, and if it's not illegal, you can't remove it. I think that would be turn the internet sort of into the Wild West of ideas, as it is either going to be the Wild West or dystopian future. I would assume go for the Wild West because I think I should be able to have my own views, say I'm out there, and people don't like them. I should be able to be criticized. And here's the thing about Laura Loomer. I found this quote pretty interesting. Indeed, some of the most prominent far-right personalities who have been banned for spreading hoax or inciting violence, I would like to see the inciting violence, were left off the guest list. That includes InfoWars' Alex Jones, who, to my knowledge, has incited no violence. Right-wing activist Laura Loomer. She's a reporter, to the best of my knowledge. Conservative writer Milo Yiannopoulos. He's sort of a comedian slash provocateur. He gives silly speeches. And Proud Boys founder Gavin McInnes, all left off. They had some of Trump's loudest and most controversial allies suddenly targeting their ire at the White House. So Trump picks middle-of-the-road conservative voices to come to the White House, and still the HuffPo goes after him with that title. Loomer, I'd be lying if I said this wasn't hurtful. Loomer, who has criticized Rep. Ilhan Omar for being Muslim. To my knowledge, Laura Loomer has criticized pretty much everything that Ilhan Omar does and says. Not specifically about being Muslim, except in the points where I've seen talking about enacting some Sharia type laws in the U.S., which the U.S. I don't think should have those because it'd be very difficult to operate the way the country does. Loomer, who is a Jew, wrote on the messaging service Telegram, "I've given up everything to support Trump and the fight for free speech, yet it's almost like I don't exist. I don't think everyone out there should have expected to be invited to this. I don't believe you should have had 2,000 people there, just, dozen, 2 dozen. I believe we all deserve an answer as to why every banned person was kept out of the summit," Loomer posted on Telegram later. "I'm not mad at anyone. I still love President Trump, but this question needs to be addressed." So Trump didn't invite anyone that social media had banned. He only invited people who are currently active on social media, YouTube, these different aspects. There you go. Oh, here's the kind of the smear in here. The social network Gab, which has taken in voices banned from other networks, was incredulous that the attendees did not include those who have sacrificed everything for the uniquely American principle of freedom of expression and individual liberty on the internet. So there you go. No one is happy about the people getting to go there. No one knows what this meeting is about. However, if you go to Google News and you just hit the little headline thing, you scroll down a little bit, you will see Ring of Fire. Oh, it's a YouTuber. Propaganda Summit at the White House. I watched it. He misrepresented a lot of the things about the site. I watched his video just a few minutes ago. Disorder in Chief hosting a summit on distortion on social media. White House rallies conservatives, snubs Facebook, Google, Twitter. The people are not all conservatives. There are some left-wing people in there as well. I've watched some of their videos about them going. Case in point, one of the big ones is Tim Pool, about 500,000 subscribers on YouTube. Very good videos, very informative. Definitely a left-wing guy. Complaining that big tech is left out. Big tech has been to the White House multiple times and has basically, in each of their statements that I've seen, they have either lied or retracted or skirted the rules, because if you say we don't have a bias, but then you go on to a broadcast, and I'm speaking mostly about Twitter here, where you say conservatives at our organization are afraid to tell people about any of that. If you have Google actively saying this is how you protest Donald Trump, if you have Facebook saying that we have a hate list, and on that list are conservatives who haven't broken any rules, haven't done any calls to violence, but because their ideas are to the right of what we consider acceptable, their hate list, and it just goes all over the place. And now you see all of these headlines calling them far-right agitators, conspiracy theorists. Does NBC and these mainstream news websites not understand that the greatest conspiracy we've seen in the last few years is, 1, Russiagate, 2, there is no issue at the border? Those are these are the massive lies we've been told. These are the things that we need to fix. You can't have mainstream media feeding you lie after lie after lie after lie, and then you go online and you find people who are actually doing journalism, going through the stories, finding out what's true, giving you a more unbiased opinion, and then you shut them down. Anyway, that's my take on it. What do you guys think? Do you think that the government should only deal directly with the social media tech giants who are actually, I hate to say it, but they're in control of what more people see than what the government can do in a lot of ways? And if you do see some of these laws pass or see some breakup of these type of companies, what do we do? Google's in the Veritas video. Google said, you don't want to break this up because then you can't resist Trump the way we can. No small company can do it. Anyway, that's my take. I do not believe our tech overlords should tell us everything and force us to believe what they say. I think that you and I should be able to start up our own channel, have 50, 10, 100, 1,000 people, 1 million people, whatever, watch it, see it, tell you what they think. Anyway, Thank you for watching. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. I know it's a long video, but, you know, a lot to rant about. Thank you and have a wonderful day.